Right now, in your pocket, lies the result of a global dance involving at least 10 different countries. Your smartphone was designed in California, powered by chips from Taiwan, lenses from Japan, and screens from South Korea, all before being assembled in China. But have you ever wondered why, in this massive chain of production, only a few countries walk away with the lion's share of the profit while others remain stuck in poverty? Today, we are going to look behind the curtain of international trade to understand the invisible threads that connect your morning Starbucks, the price of your sneakers, and the wealth of nations. We are going to explore why some countries are destined to sell their soil while others sell their ideas. And most importantly, how you can navigate this changing world where the old rules of globalization are beginning to crumble. To understand how money really works in the 21st century, we analyze data from the World Bank, the IMD competitiveness indices, and the strategies of global giants like Apple and LVMH. This isn't just a lesson in economics, it is a breakdown of the world's current operating system. For decades, we were told that international trade is a win-win for everyone, a rising tide that lifts all boats. And in a sense, that is true. Trade is the circulatory system of the global economy. Without it, your favorite coffee would stay in Brazil and your laptop would simply not exist. But as we see in the stark contrast between North and South Korea, the decision to participate in this system or hide from it is a matter of survival. While North Korea chose isolation and faced chronic shortages and stagnation, South Korea integrated itself into the global market, becoming 70 times wealthier than its neighbor. Isolation might feel like protection, but in reality, it is a path to obsolescence. Trade is not a form of dependency, it is the ultimate source of national strength. However, simply participating in trade is not enough to get rich. This is where we encounter the value-added paradox. Take the example of Ethiopia and Starbucks. Ethiopia grows some of the finest coffee beans in the world, yet the farmers who labor in the fields earn only a few cents for every bag. Meanwhile, Starbucks buys those beans, roasts them, puts a green logo on a paper cup, and sells that same coffee for $5 or $6 in London or New York. Who made more money? It is never the one who grows the product, it is always the one who turns that product into a brand, a status symbol, or a piece of technology. This is why countries that export raw materials like wood or oil often stay poor, while countries that import that same wood to build high-end furniture or use that oil to power tech hubs become wealthy. Wealth is built not on what you extract from the ground, but on what you add to it through design, marketing, and intellectual property. This leads us to the hidden engine of the world, the US dollar. You might wonder why a Brazilian farmer at a South Korean tech firm would settle their deals in dollars when neither of them is American. The reason is that the dollar has become the operating system of global trade. Much like a social media app that everyone uses because everyone else is already on it, the dollar is the universal language of prices. It provides a stable, reliable way to measure value across borders. This gives the United States a unique advantage, allowing them to carry massive debts and run trade deficits for decades without going bankrupt. Because the world needs dollars to trade, the world is essentially willing to finance the American lifestyle. While other countries like Turkey or Argentina see their currencies collapse when they spend more than they earn, the US remains the global anchor because it controls the system's software. But the software isn't everything. You also need the hardware of logistics. Countries like Singapore and Finland have proven that you don't need natural resources to be a global powerhouse. What you need is efficiency. In the modern world, logistics is a weapon. The Logistics Performance Index shows that being able to move a container through a port in hours rather than weeks is what separates winners from losers. Singapore, a tiny island with no resources of its own, became a billionaire hub simply by being the fastest, most reliable teleport for global goods. In 2026, the competitive edge isn't about having the most land, it's about having the best infrastructure and the least amount of corruption. However, we are now entering a new and uncertain era that most textbooks haven't caught up with yet. For 30 years, the world was becoming one giant open market. But that era of free trade for all is dying. We are seeing a move toward trade islands or regional blocks. Tying your economy to a single global system is becoming risky as trade wars between giants like the US and China escalate. Furthermore, the old advantage of cheap labor is evaporating. For decades, countries like Bangladesh or Vietnam grew by offering low-cost workers for garment factories. But today, as artificial intelligence and automation advance, robots are becoming cheaper than the cheapest human labor. If a robot in a high-tech German factory can sew a shirt more efficiently than a person in Dhaka, the entire ladder that developing nations used to climb out of poverty will break. This shift to digital logistics, where we export code and cloud services instead of physical crates, is the new Silk Road, and it doesn't require a deep-water port. The final paradox of our modern world is that while trade brings us together, it also gives us better tools to compete against each other. We are moving away from a world of total integration and into a world of strategic fragmentation. The question for the next decade isn't just
to a
what
prosperous
you sell,
partnership,
but whose
indeed,
operating
to
system
mutual
you're plugged
success.
into. As globalization as we knew it ends, the gap between those who sell raw materials and those who sell meaning will only widen. Whether you are a student, a professional, or a business owner, understanding these invisible threads is the only way to ensure you aren't just a resource being traded, but a player in the game. In this new era, wealth doesn't go to those who work the hardest, but to those who control the systems, the brands, and the logic of the exchange. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe so we know we're moving in the right direction.